More business to take care of, man. The preseason might be over, but there's still some more business to handle before we get to that first week 1 game. DJ Reader, man, he's back. We're excited about that. But obviously what comes to mind for me, at least first when I think of DJ Reader, it's the injury concerns.
Yeah.
You know, what's your level of concern with his injury history?
1 out of 10.
5. Because DJ Reader, he has missed 22 games combined in the last 4 seasons, and he's coming back from a torn quad as a big man.
Yeah.
That's a very serious injury, and it wouldn't shock me still if he was kept out for maybe weeks 1 and 2, although he is eligible to return week 1, courtesy of being off of the PUP list. And I think the concern also goes into what is behind him. I understand, like Levi Onwuzurike, I would not be shocked at all if he has a big year. Mm-hmm. However, if DJ Reader even has to miss a game or 2, it's not a luxury. It's a necessity that Levi Onwuzurike improves. If DJ Reader does have to miss even like 4 or 5 games this year, it's not the whole Broderick Martin thing. He better show something. Same with, I don't want to be too rough on a 6th-round rookie.
Yeah.
However,
Wingo, yeah.
You might have to expect some things out of guys who aren't necessarily ready. However, the fact that it seems as though, courtesy of him being off the PUP list, that DJ Reader is recovering from this torn quad in at least a timely manner, that makes me believe that he's probably going to at least start week 2 on or week 3 on. However, if he does have to miss some games, I think it's a little bit concerning. But if Levi Onwuzurike becomes the guy that everybody is reporting from training camp, then maybe it isn't so bad.
Yeah, man. It's to me, you got to at least get 12 to 13 games out of this guy.
Sure.
I know just based off his track record, you can't expect him to play all 17, but I feel like 12 to 13 in the regular season is good, and then we absolutely need him for the playoff stretch. But I think the depth is a lot better this year, man. You got Kyle Peko. You have a Broderick Martin who had a decent preseason. Mekhi Wingo as well. And, of course, we've been hearing Levi O's name all through training camp, man. So I just hope that he can flash as well. But the depth behind him is enough to make up for that 3 to 4 game gap that he may miss during the year. But absolutely need him for 12 to 13 games, and we need him for the playoff stretch in order to really make an impact on this defense.
Now, I like the way that you're painting the picture as well. You know, as an observer, it's like, okay, what is the impact? Because do I expect him to be injured at some point in time, or at least need a breather? Yeah, you know, because even with this preseason, we were wondering what's the extent of some of these injuries. And as we got more and more word, we started to realize, you know what? They're just really trying to make sure that their guys are ready for game 1 of the regular season. And so, you know what? Whether it's just, I need a breather, whether it's, hey, I need to nurse an injury, whether it's I need an extra week because we know we're going into the playoffs and we want to be hot. You know, I'm a lot more comfortable, especially if that depth can kind of get their feet wet early in the season, while you have a DJ Reader healthy and there in the lineup. And then as you get later in the season, have the experience, have your reps, kind of be warmed up, and really look like you're not missing a beat at all. I remember last year's we got kind of, deep into the season, we were able to rely on some offensive linemen, some backups like that, who during the early parts of the season were getting those reps. And when they stepped in the playoffs, they stepped up big.
Yeah, and let's not get it twisted about DJ Reader, at least in my opinion, but I don't think this is a crazy one. DJ Reader was the most important acquisition this offseason. Mm-hmm. You could argue Carlton Davis, and I'll listen, and I'm not going to be mad at you for that, but just what DJ Reader can do for this pass rush, given the attention that he's going to receive, that's really what he's here for.
What DJ Reader can do for Carlton Davis.
What DJ Reader can, hey, and also to be fair, what Carlton Davis can do for a DJ Reader as well, and the defensive lineman. But I just think what you're upgrading DJ Reader to from what the Lions had last year is a greater upgrade than what you got from Carlton Davis. I personally think, and I know it's kind of moot because Cam Sutton would have been suspended anyway. I don't think Carlton Davis is as big of an upgrade as some people think. He's an upgrade, don't get me wrong. But the DJ Readers upgrading from like the Benito Joneses and the Bohanas of the world, that's seismic.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was definitely a plus add for us and our team here. But again, I agree with all you guys as well. I'm not expecting DJ Reader to sit here and play every single game. He's going to get hurt again, and as you said, Kool-Aid, he's going to need a breather. So if, as KG said, you can play him for at least that 12, 13, sit him until the playoffs, once again, when you really truly need him, I think you'll be fine. It's not like we're going to be hurting. We do have depth at this position as well, too. And you're hoping that during these days, during the training and during the games, that you at least see some progression from your Broderick Martins, your Mekhi Wingo. So when and if DJ goes down, you're not going to be extremely hurting. But it is a positive sign that he already has stated that, hey, he's ahead of his recovery process when he was like 4 years ago. So he knows the process. He knows it takes a little bit of time, but at the same time, he knows his body a little bit more and knows that he's ready to go and he's fully back and prepared to play.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to this. And before we kind of get into more of the preseason breakdown, the things we like from the game, and I know later on we're going to be talking about some of this 53-man roster because it is cut week. Intern Chase, man, got to get your thoughts on this.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm just basing all of my thoughts on what I've seen from the coaching staff over the previous years, the way they handled Jahmyr Gibbs last year whenever he kind of seemed a little banged up. Even like sitting Amon-Ra, just for like a sore ankle, I believe it was last year. Yeah. I'm not too worried about what's going to happen with how they handle DJ Reader. I think he's going to be healthy. He's going to be impactful when we need him, and I don't really like to put it out there that like injuries and stuff like that. It's not something like you wouldn't think about that for a loved one of yours or anything like that. So why would we think about that for at the end of the day, these are people too. So why are we going to go out of our way to project something bad to happen to them?
Hey, you know what, man? It's hey, you can come here and get your analysis on the games. You can get your recap. You can get your review. You can also come here and get your therapy as well. These people help to paint such a great picture. I'm hoping I'm doing the same thing with Pistons too.
Oh, of course.
But I'm dead serious, man. You know what? Because having the right lens for the season as fans who have not been there before, this is our first season, walking into a season knowing that Super Bowl is what's expected. So it's like understanding and knowing exactly what to look for. It's the same thing we did with the Tigers, right?
Yep.
And the Tigers season so far has played out almost to a T, how Broder and some of us have, really everybody. We all said this would be what it looks like. It'll be a roller coaster. It'll be some ugly baseball. It'll be some good baseball. They're going to get to the trade deadline. We want to see what they're going to do, and then we'll see the rest of the way. It's pretty much played out that way.
Sure.
But I want to get into this Detroit Lions preseason game. They win 24-17 over the Steelers.
Ooh, yeah, big win. Big win that's going to translate to that's going to translate into the standings of the regular season. But no, you know what? Right. Before we let's get to that on the other side of the break because we have a lot to unpack. Yeah. But before we go to break, I got to read this comment from Terrell from FL because I think this is actually best case scenario. If Levi is balling, we can rest DJ. Well, he says every 4 games. I don't know necessarily about that, but maybe for like the first few. If Levi Onwuzurike comes in as a starter, if DJ Reader, who has not practiced, by the way, this whole preseason, if he's not ready and Levi Onwuzurike shows up and balls out, that might be best case scenario for the Lions, at least moving forward this year. If you've got 3 known commodities in the interior wreaking havoc, some teams don't even have 1. I'll just say that.
Hey, it's interesting, man. I'm wondering what the Detroit Lions are cooking up there. The personnel, it is very interesting.